Have you ever wondered what's really going on inside your computer or your phone? You've probably heard the terms RAM and ROM thrown around. They sound almost the same, right? But they do totally different things. So today, we're going to break it all down and figure out why your gadgets literally can't live without either one of them. So let's frame this as a little showdown. RAM versus ROM. Who would win in a fight? Who's more important? Well, the thing is, it's not really about which one is stronger. It's actually about how they're forced to work together in this really unlikely, kind of strange partnership.
Okay, I want you to imagine this. Inside every one of your devices, you've got these two characters with completely opposite personalities. One is super fast and brilliant, but also incredibly forgetful. And the other? Well, the other one is super reliable, but just absolutely, totally inflexible. Let's go ahead and meet our first character.
All right, first up, we've got RAM. Think of RAM as the speedy, almost hyperactive worker of your device. This is the character that lives completely in the moment and is all about getting stuff done right now.
You know, the absolute best way to understand RAM is to just picture your own office desk. It's where you spread out everything you're working on at this very moment. All your papers, your open browser tabs, the apps you're using. It is your active but very temporary workspace.
So, what's RAM's personality really like? Well, its number one trait is its speed. It is ridiculously fast, and that's what makes your games and apps feel so smooth. But it has a huge flaw. It needs constant power to remember anything. We call this being volatile. The second you cut the power, poof, everything on its desk is just wiped clean. It's all gone.
And that, of course, brings us to our second character, who is the polar opposite of our chaotic worker. Everyone, meet ROM. ROM is the strict, no-nonsense manager who keeps the whole operation in line.
So if RAM is that messy desk, ROM is like the official instruction manual for the entire office, and it's locked away safely in a filing cabinet. It holds all the fundamental rules that never, ever change. This isn't a workspace, it's the rulebook.
And this really captures ROM's personality perfectly. It has a permanent memory because it doesn't need power to hold on to information. We call that non-volatile. I mean, you could unplug your device for 10 years and ROM would still remember the most critical startup instructions, the stuff we often call the BIOS. That's the deep-down programming that tells your computer how to even wake up. And true to its name, this memory is read-only. You can look at the rules, but you can't change.
So, you might be wondering, if these two are so incredibly different, why on earth does your computer need both of them? Why would you put a forgetful worker and a super strict manager in the same office? It sounds like a recipe for disaster, right?
Well, it all comes down to teamwork. You absolutely need the speedy worker, RAM, to give you that fast, temporary workspace for all your apps. Without it, everything would just crawl along. But you also need that strict manager, ROM, to hold on to the permanent, unchangeable instructions so the device knows how to turn on in the first place.
Look, if you remember just one single thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. RAM is for speed, and ROM is for safety. One gives you performance, the other gives you permanence. That's the secret to their entire partnership.
All right, let's put this all together in one place. Think of this table as the ultimate cheat sheet for telling these two apart. This is the key, right here.
Okay, let's just run through this. When it comes to speed, RAM, our worker, is the clear winner. It's blazing fast, while ROM is way slower. From memory type, ROM, the manager, wins on reliability with its permanent, non-volatile memory. RAM, our worker, is totally volatile and forgetful. What about their purpose? Well, RAM handles your current tasks, while ROM holds those crucial startup instructions. And finally, can you change them? RAM is your workspace, so yeah, you can read and write to it all day long. But ROM is the rulebook. It's strictly read-only.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about for the future. Right now, we need this odd couple, the speedy worker and the steady manager, to make our tech work. But will we ever see a day when technology creates a single, perfect kind of memory that is both unbelievably fast and permanently safe? Now, that is a showdown I think we'll all have to wait and see.